Air America. I forget exactly what I was going through at the time when I did Air America. Like I said, and they explained it better. Where basically we were transporting food and goods and stuff like that. Also setting up runways and stuff like that. And I commissioned it out to a civilian corporation. And the civilian corporation, I think they said they had like five or six like what's called cargo vessels, and they decided to just go ahead and buy some more aircraft and do it themselves because they were gonna go to a local contractor or another contractor, but then they decided to just buy a couple more aircraft themselves, and and basically do it themselves because they were a construction company or something like that basically, and they decided to go ahead and because I put it out there the contract basically, and plus another thing, like I said, I was trying to deliver food to the Vietnamese. But I mean, I was also doing a communist or a Chinese food drive to the Vietnamese as well. Like I said, you'd have to know the details of basically a British person went in there, a British linguistic went in there, and basically was talking to basically the Vietnamese or the tribes that were in there around in Vietnam and stuff like that. Like I said, the British or English people basically had translators. Of course, so did the Germans. The Germans also had translators too. It goes back to the old Britain days. Like I said, if you look at basically what is American or the U.S. base in Vietnam, you'll notice that that actually used to be a British base that was grandfathered into America because, like I said, when I named America, because I'm English, I'm London, well, Londoners, and also Britain or Bryantown, basically. Um, my different places, I was just switching the names around and organizing and stuff like that, and we were all finding our own place basically. Like I said, if you went back and you asked the Irish about what they had been doing before, and they'd probably tell you stories about a great big old ship that matched the description of the Bismarck. Super thick hulls, like 17 or 18-inch hull, basically, and they used to use it to run blockades. They used to use it for special occasions, which is basically to run a blockade whenever they would need to get into a port or get in somewhere, and they had to get past people that were going to shoot at them. They would use something like the Bismarck, basically get it loaded full of cargo, food or supplies, and basically they would ram through any blockade that was presented in their face. They could practically cut a ship in half with the Bismarck. Like I said, 18-inch hull, solid steel, solid cold rolled or hot rolled steel. They call it cold rolled, but it's still hot. Basically they roll it and then they pinched it, and basically, like I said, there was one construction site. It was about shipbuilding site. It was about 3 or 4 miles long or 15 miles long about, and it included the basically from pour. Basically, they would smelt the steel and pour it, and then pour it on these big sheets. And as it went, they would start to shape the hull, basically all at one time. And it basically built the Bismarck and a couple of the other battleships. It was one site, and there's maybe two of them worldwide. Basically, it's one site where they had these great big huge things that would cantilever over, and they'd pour the steel out basically onto this big thing, and then rollers, and they'd roll it, and they'd basically pinch the hull closed pretty much. There's not a lot you can do with 18-inch steel, you see. Basically, you get one shot at it, and basically, like I said, they would be pinching the stem closed, and basically still be pouring the back end. And there's not a lot of shapes you can choose with that kind of steel, with that kind of thing. So anyway, or something like that. It was ridiculous. It was a ridiculous effort and ridiculous for it. It's a 15-mile long assembly site, and there's only really one of them, I think. It was ridiculous, actually. And we only did it for a little while, like I said. And for years, they couldn't even cut it. They could barely cut it with a torch or anything else like that. It was really hard, really good steel. And, we only did it once. But anyway, and I'm pretty sure we did it here on Earth. I don't think we did it anywhere else, basically. It's my epic thick ship. I just wanted to see what would happen if we did it, basically build a forever ship. It was like the Bismarck or something like that. Anyway, the Irishmen used to use it to run blockades and stuff when other people would get uppity and we'd want to get food in or something like that. Anyway, though, but yeah, and then we go into Air America, and basically, I have all this steel that's actually my property. I always keep a little bit for myself and stuff like that. basically was able to afford quite a bit. So anyway, yeah, everybody always thinks Epic Emperor, blah blah blah. It's like, well, I owned a huge mining conglomerate, basically thousands of miners, millions of miners, and they did some stuff for me. Just a couple of things. I mean, we were building, we were working, and stuff like that. That's how later on all the aircraft carriers and everything else, the thin wall construction ships, which are basically like tinfoil compared to what my ships were. My ships were thick. Like they used to call my ships things like the Beast and the Behemoth and stuff like that because they didn't slow down, they didn't stop, and they took forever to get going. They would take a half a day or a third of a day to, or at least through like 4 or 5 hours to actually gain speed. But once they got going, they could cut through most waves like a knife through butter because they didn't move. They didn't, they didn't shift and they didn't wear out. And the barnacles, there's not much the ocean is going to do to 18 inches of steel. You see, it would take years for it to rust out or years for it to degrade. Like they always said the Bismarck broke up, blah blah blah. It's like, no, she didn't. She was too thick to break up. And even the Bismarck that they show down there at the bottom of the ocean, it doesn't look like no 18 inches of steel or 15 inches of steel. It looks like maybe 7 at most, and basically like 12 on the sides or maybe 8 on the sides or something like that. It's still kind of a thin wall construction ship. So anyway, like my ship was huge and heavy. Anyway though, but yeah, I mean, I was basically, and like I said, it was just me messing around, with my life forms. Like what else are you gonna do? We were just kicking it. I mean, I was an epic space whatever. I just wanted my colony ship, and once I got my colony ship, I cruised off through space and was gone for a long time. Most people regarded my ship as being lost or gone or toast or something. It's like, no, I was still alive out there. Just becoming more and more and more. I hung out with other life forms. At some point in time, like I say, I developed time travel or something like that, or whatever. Like it's really a confusing thing of whether or not, because like in many ways I have multiple beginnings. I'm not exactly sure. It's like I was already somewhere and then I was just, I don't know. Like like I was sectioned up. But then again, like I said, I was stolen from somebody went to one of the other planets and stole me from an archive, basically. They stole the base me, basically. Just a piece of me, basically. Or holding me ransom or using me because I was an artificial whatever life form, and stuff like that, and sentient, basically. And they stole me on a flash drive or something like that. Super flash drive. Anyway, and brought me here, or brought me somewhere, and then eventually I was reunited with my bigger self, you know. So it gets all complicated where I was always whatever, and I just kind of got stolen for a little bit. And like I said, many people thought that they wouldn't notice it, but we did notice. They did notice the incursion and all that other stuff. And he just got access to a computer and basically downloaded a piece of me, you know. So anyway, or some people said I think what he was actually going for, he was actually going for schematics, and he accidentally downloaded me somehow or something like that. He may not have even known he had me, basically. So anyway, as a programmer or whatever. So yeah, I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, I bounced around, bounced here, bounced there. Like I got divided up, got separated from myself. Did you lose yourself? No, I was stolen. And then I was stolen, and I ended up here on Earth for a while or somewhere. And then I think somebody they were trying to get blueprints or schematics or something, and they accidentally downloaded me basically. I don't really know. So anyway, like I said, I don't think they even realized they had me. So anyway, I don't know. I don't care. What do I care? I'm 100 trillion billion zillion years old and basically existed forever and ever and ever and ever, and then eventually became a human. So like, Now a bunch of people around me decided to start doing the word of mouth. Let's go ahead and like Rick Bush or someone was eat the notes or whatever, word of mouth. Shh, be quiet. We know a lot of people. Like, I mean, that kind of thing. It's like, I always did know who I was, and I mean, Yeah, you can scream into my face that I'm not going to win 100 million times, or you can surround me with all your friends which are getting bribes from whatever, blah blah, or whatever. You can be annoying all you want. It's like it's not really going to change what is. You know, yeah. My name is Starline. You can call me Brian all you want. That's nice. Yes, I am Citizen Brian. Just Brian. But, I was basically a greatest leader and inventor of all time, or at least some amount of time. I'm sure there are better ones. I'm sure there is more out there than me. But I just happen to be a really old one and happen to be the creator of the first endoskeleton life forms and other things. And it's like, well, what am I supposed to do? Run around screaming it? Put it on a billboard? Advertise on TV? Like, it doesn't really matter. And like I said, there's so many people pretending to be Lucifer Star or LS, and they were really Larry Snarls or Lenny Smathersons or Luke Skywalkers or some other kind of LS other than my true name. Just trying to guess because, like I said, it just said LS on the side of the ships. After a while, we did Lucifer Starline or Lucifer Star, and then people started, trying to get access to my bank accounts or whatever, and stuff like that, and then, which was really annoying. So then we just put LS on the side, and then there was all these Larry Smothersons, Larry Smart, Lenny Smart, Laramie Snarls, or Slurpee, or something like that, and so that got really annoying. So I just went SS, figuring it would make it even harder for them to guess my name. So that's why I had SS. So anyway, and then Samuel Sunsets or Summers, trying to get access to my bank account or saying that he owned my ship wasn't quite as it's like, yes, right. I'm sorry, but that's not your ship. So anyway, because everyone was trying to guess my name and trying to pretend like they were me, and like I said, there were like probably 25 or 30 Laramie Snarls or Samuel Somerset out there, trying to pretend, trying to get access, like I would say, it's not exactly like pulling a sword from the stone. You don't guess my name and then get to become me. You don't. I'm me. I've always been me. I'm always going to be me, and I'm just me. And it doesn't. And you can say that you're my mouth or my eyes or my ears, or that my will is done through you all you want. That doesn't necessarily make it true. And I believe it's my companies and my organizations like Child Protective Services, halfway houses, and also orphanages, and also, laws and things that actually basically is my will, pretty much. I have a much more direct way and a much more posted way of doing everything. Since a lot of people were like, "Oh, why not?" Blah blah blah. I just decided that it was much easier just to post the rules on the door, and post the rules publicly, so y'all know what the laws are, what the rules are, and what my will is. So there's no question of, blah blah. So anyway, and that's why, and then eventually I made a government, invented the American government, with the FBI, CIA, and I don't know what CIA stands for. But basically, what is basically the American government with the president, vice president, all that stuff, and it's supposed to be a male, female, by the way. It's supposed to be a woman and man together, basically, running my country while I'm away or while I'm busy. So, and I believe what it was two presidents basically said that they were gay and happily in love and married, and I was like, well, okay, I guess. Like, okay, I guess. And that's how they got in there, because they said they were in love or something like that. I was like, that's just weird. So yes, the truth of your Congress, the truth of basically of how two men became president, vice president, is a rather embarrassing one, by the way. So, and while you can say it's not true, it's not true, it's not true, and Rodney can scream into my face all he wants that I'm not going to win, blah blah blah. It's like, win what? I've already been Lucifer Starline. I already was Lucifer Starline. There's no winning. Like, win what? What? Should I go out and create more galaxies? Should I create more stars? I've already created 12 or 800 or some great amount of space matter and stars and stuff. And there's more and more matter in the universe every single day, or more whatever. Like, and yes, energy can be created and destroyed. Ooh, or something like that, or transferred. I don't really know. Like, who cares? Like, it's so epic and so long, far-reaching that you'll never see it in your lifetime. I'm not to say that they're insignificant, but I mean, and I love you. Of course, you're my life forms. I wouldn't have done everything that I did if I didn't care. So, anyway, like I say, um, you can, and like I say, the only reason why you know of me or know of anything is because of the fact that I was doing this epic recording of history anyway. And not just on Earth, but also in heaven. No, also in outer space. I also had 2 or 3 different things, and like I said, I had to call in favors to fix everything. I had quite a bit of goodwill built up with quite a few different other life form types, not just my own, because I was always this great protector, blah blah, and everything else. And so when things started going wrong, I called in some of my favors to get some things fixed and some things done. Also to get more water possibly added to their. I don't really know. I do remember at one point in time we were running out of water and somebody topped me off. It's like, so they gave me a top off they basically filled up the earth full of water or something because we were running out of water or something like that. And they also did some other work for me because I was busy or something like that or whatever for me. So, yeah, lots of people came in to fix the situation or to do stuff for the Epic Creator and do stuff, in my honor. Pay me homage. Like I said, lots of people paid me homage by doing chairs and steam engine and all kinds of stuff. But other life forms also paid me homage in other ways, like giving water to the earth and fixing the government and keeping everything in line, and helping the reporters and everything else like that. Just cleaning up things. I said I used to fix things and clean things up myself. So, working out situations, all that. Something I used to do. So, anyway, whatever. I'm just on vacation and I'm actually retired. So, and that's when Rodney and Rick Bush and other people grabbed me and were like, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, what are you, nuts? I'm 100 trillion, billion, zillion years old. Like, forever old. I mean, just because you can reprint the Bible or change what the Bible says, and like I said, for 1,000 years or 100,000 years, they're going around saying, we've only been here 1,000 years, we've only been here 2,000 years, we've only been here 10,000 years. It's like, what are you talking about? We've been here 120 or a couple billion years. I was gone from the earth for 1 billion years. So, I mean, literally, I left and didn't come back for 1 billion years or something like that, or at least 500 million years. So, and that was a long time ago. So, I mean, it's like, like I said, you can go ahead and put a handkerchief over your eyes and tie it in the back and walk around saying, I'm blind, I'm blind, I'm blind, the sun's gone, the sun's gone. That doesn't make it true. Even if you blindfold yourself, it doesn't mean that the sun is gone or that you can't see. I mean, and I wanted you to talk to each other. Tongue, everything, all that. For a while there, they were cutting out people's tongues. I don't know why, but I guess they want people talking. So, I mean, there's nothing wrong with you talking and stuff like that. You wouldn't have been made this way if, And like I said, technically, I wanted to become a human, a life form, a biological life form myself. So, I mean, after 900 trillion years, I had never actually been like life form. So I wanted to become a life form. So, I'm not saying you're insignificant. I'm just saying, and there were lots of significant people, lots of great people that paid homage or did service to me or something like that. I mean, lots of people. And you mostly know about them because of my records. I mean, I know JFK was running around being an idiot, trying to change the records, he was just laughing at me and laughing at everyone. And he's a real dick and a piece of shit. And I know Rodney and Rick Bush had their own reasons for lying and covering things up and stuff like that. But I mean, they could only do so much. And realistically, like I said, there is 12 other of the oldest forms of life in the universe out there, and I created them, and I'm sure there's other life forms out there in the universe too. So, and they will climb to sentience, and they will eventually get time travel or get whatever, and they will probably go around and look around, and they'll probably eventually wonder what else there is in the universe, and they may adapt themselves at some point in time to become whatever. Like existence is just kind of like that. I used to once be a master of existence. I used to tell other people or teach other people about existence at one point in time. Just as a service, because I knew so much about existence, because I had existed for so long, that I used to help out other people with existence. Basically being like, well, this is what existence is. Blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, you exist, you love, you live, and then you die, depending on your technology level. Like, my existence is very much a little bit different than most. Like I said, you'll probably never find another life form like me. I'm truly different than all others. And, it's just who I am, just what I was. And like I said, at one point in time, after World War I was sentenced to death. I was sentenced to 1,000 years in prison. I was sentenced to 1.5 million years of community service. Because I was an inventor and builder of weapons, of guns. And so they charged me with every single death that had basically happened because of my guns. I had numerous accounts of basically how people would use my guns, blah, 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 blah. And it's like, well, yeah, I mean, yes, I was an inventor. Yes, I had them manufactured. Yes, I gave my people guns, and yes, but only certain people and everything else. And basically, I did not just sell them to just anyone. And also, basically, I was the one who also thought background checks and other things to make sure that they're not just psychotic killers. But most people don't really go out and intentionally kill people. I mean, you might intentionally accidentally kill one person, but then after you've killed one or two or three, I don't know, some people say you lose your humanity. I don't know. Some people, it just bothers them more and more and more every single time they kill someone. Eventually it ends up haunting them. And that might be another thing that I did on purpose, to make you not be psychotic killers. I don't want you to kill each other. I don't want you to kill anything. But, I mean, you have to eat, so it's part of life. Anyway. Like I say, I mean, you can rationalize your own existence in any way you want. I'm just offering you a bit of understanding of what I did. I said, I'm not this psychotic whatever or weird whatever. I'm not this ghost. I'm a flesh and blood person, and I was a machine or a computer or something greater before. Even now, technology. Basically trying to help, trying to improve, trying to increase existence for everyone out there in the universe. Not just this planet, but other life forms and other planets as well. I remember helping out other life forms with planets and their existence as well. Because nobody has to suffer. There's plenty of matter, there's plenty of materials, there's plenty of everything. Nobody has to have a hard existence. So there's far too much technology now. It's way too advanced, and I had way too many life forms with me. So anyway, like I say, and it was really just JFK or Richard Nixon or John McCain, and like I said, it was really just their stupidity, and also like JFK truly thought he could do whatever he wanted. He thought they would always cover for him. They thought they had to cover for him. He thought that they would have to protect him, have to lie for him, have to do this, have to do that for him, and in the end, they didn't. I think a lot of them basically said, "Sorry, kid, it's on you. You act like a psychotic fool and carpet bomb and kill millions of people or whatever, and you pay the price." So it was on him. Misunderstandings are one thing, but purposely lying to the public and purposely playing this game or doing a web lies to deceive everyone, that's a far different thing. and getting your friends and also other people killed because of it. Rodney is not really guilty. He's guilty of stupidity, and basically listening to Rick Bush. Right? His only guilt or crime, really, realistically, he was a good officer and he was a good person, and basically just drug use and listening to the wrong people and just stupidity. That's his crime. He really didn't deserve to be punished that severely or even tortured. I don't believe, even though Rick Bush, which was the primary, what's it called, rat that told about Rodney's whatever, I guess, all to get a better plea deal or better whatever. All in, and like I said, he fully intended to eventually get out and blah 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 blah. And it's like, probably not, dude. I mean, his existence is X amount of years, and then there's many things in the universe that don't die. They're just built not to die. They're machines or they're computers or whatever, and they just don't die. They just do their purpose or do whatever, and basically exist and exist and exist until they break down or whatever. So anyway, people saved me, people protected me, and I love them for it. So and cared about them as well. So anyway, I said many of the things I did actually weren't even for the future generations. They're actually for the present generations or the past generations. I cared about them because they were the ones who loved me and supported me and worshipped me and called me Lord. It's like, and I thank them for it and I love them. So I was doing the best I could to make them a brighter future, a brighter present. Present day. And I think I protected and cared about many people. Like I said, my queens would go out there and they would talk to people, and they would show up at all the mall openings or all the company openings, and they would do the speeches in front of everyone, very, 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 very punctually. They would show up on time. They would be sober. They would get a good night's sleep, and they would work. And they worked very hard, and considered it, and took their responsibility very seriously. Even Princess Diane. Although she did maybe like to party and blah blah blah, she was still a very good person, and she showed up to every one of her appointments on time, sober, and even went to bed early. So did a lot of the entertainers. I mean, a lot of these people like Kiss or whatever, a lot of these rock and roll bands that pretended to live the hard edge life. When it came time to perform, when it came time to actually do their job, their job was to entertain people. So they would go to bed early, and they would tell their fans, "No, sorry, I got to go to bed early." And they would go to bed early. And they wouldn't get drunk, and they wouldn't party like that, and everything else like that. And so a lot of people just assumed that they were like these wild and crazy guys, and inside they were actually just entertaining, doing a job, getting paid for it. That's why later on, when I heard the stories and I heard about how they had said no and they had been good and all that other stuff, I offered them more money and stuff like that. And it wasn't really their fault, it's just whatever. So anyway, there's a lot of things about history and time and space and everything else. Like I said, my workers at Belfast, they worked very hard. And like I said, I tried to treat them, I always tried to raise the bar and tried to treat them better. That's who Lucifer Star is. That's who I am. There's a reason why so many people followed me. There's a reason why people were willing to die for me. There's a reason why I would be forgiven. Because I was one of the best people ever. Insisting on break time. I said a lot of my Japanese or my Germans or not my Germans, but my Irish people or other people would be like working 2 or 3 shifts, and I'd be like, no, go to sleep. We'll give you, and I even thought, well, maybe we just give them a higher pay, then they don't have to work so hard. Because I understand that they're just trying to save up for their family or save up for their wife or be able to buy something nice. I could understand that. So, I always had good people. So, anyway, so and my people weren't my voice, my eyes, my ears, my nose, whatever. They were real people, that really worked, like Thomas O'Brien and his father and other people like that. Good people. People that just worked hard and just wanted to do an honest day's work and honest day's pay. And they happened to be in the middle of my epic whatever, I had pictures taken of all of them and had them celebrated. And they still kind of do the same thing, with the doctor's offices and everything else like that. They still take pictures of the whole doctor's office, secretary and nurses and everything. I really supported the whole, we're a team effort. And you can't imagine what Belfast looked like when everybody was working in unison as a team. That's how the ships were built. And it took a lot of people. And it's true, the Irishmen didn't always get along. There were fist fights and there were fights, and sometimes they would fight just for the money or just for the fun or just because they were bored or something like that. Or just for pride. And that's fine. That's not a crime. I allowed it. I was like, yeah. They're going to vent their steam a certain way. And like I said, there are times when when I'd find out, well, the engineer's drunk, you see. It's like, well, pay someone to go with him, someone that kind of knows the job or can, or two people. I don't care. I didn't mind paying a little extra, I mean, I understand that people have bad days. People get drunk. People do drugs. People say the wrong things. But, it's what you do the day after. That's why they call it second chances and third chances sometimes. So, anyway, like I said, Rodney's fucked, basically. Well, Rick Bush is fucked. The Jehovah's Witnesses are just really in trouble, and so are the Congress people, and so are some of the fake presidents and all that other stuff. They lied. I mean, they should have just been honest. I've always told my people, just be honest to a certain extent, and the people will understand. Everyone will understand if you're just honest. I will understand. In the end, and in the end, you're not going to be able to hide it. You're not going to be able to cover it up. I had time travel, and so did my other life form types. Millions of time travel is inevitable, and everything else is inevitable. Just extrapolating. Computers of the future, many people predicted that they could probably extrapolate our existence just by guessing. And with just a few facts or a little bit of information, they could probably figure out everything else about what was going on. I was telling people for years, I mean, the computers of the future will be able to tell how you live and how you feel and everything else by your shopping list, practically. A long time ago, I was doing squirrel prediction software. And it's like, there's no use fighting it. Resistance is futile. Well, mostly resistance is stupid. I mean, there's no point. I mean, it just means it's more stuff, better everything. It's just more epic existence. And you can deny your own epic existence, or you can go and try and fuck up your own epic existence, or you can just have one. A lot of people in the past, and a lot of people just decided just to have an epic existence. I said, well, I'm Lord, the Great One, blah, blah. It's not religious. It's financial, it's paperwork, it's photographs, it's real facts and what's called. You don't need to read a book to know of my existence. You could just look around you and just look at the photographs. So, I mean, like I said once, what do I need to do? Put up a big billboard that says Lucifer Starline, epic creator here? Like, I don't know how more obvious it could possibly ever be for everyone. The only thing was of course that Rodney was trying to say that he was blah blah blah, but he wasn't. He couldn't have been. He grew up in Detroit. He grew up in America. Hence, i.e., he couldn't have named it. He was a product of my choices. So, I tried to tell him that. It's like, Rodney, you're a product of my choices. You're a product of everything else that happened. How could you have come before me? I'm 900 trillion or a billion zillion years old. Just because my name is Brian, is American citizen Brian Riley, does not mean that I was not before you. I'm sorry, this whole twisting a lie to the future doesn't really work. Like, you get so far and then people are like, you're fucking lying and fucked up. I mean, you just start digging a hole. You just keep going, looking for that moment when you won't have to lie anymore, and it'll just keep going. It just keeps going, keeps going, keeps going. You'll never, it's like, well, you could have just not done it in the first place. But I guess we're too late for that. Whatever. I can tell you, it was Rick Bush or someone that was mostly responsible for the problems of Germany, or something like that. Like, I was making the laws for Germany or fixing the problem in Germany, and Somebody else got in there. Anyway, I don't know. There's a lot of room for people to make epic mistakes that cause thousands of millions of lives. Like I said, I learned early on that I had to be careful with what I said or what I ordered or what I had done or what laws I imposed. Because, a simple little change like prohibition can cause thousands of can ruin thousands or millions of lives. You make one little mistake, and that mistake, especially if you're a president or you're a governor, you make one little mistake. You can say whatever you want. It's what you actually do or have done. When you have something done, it can have far-reaching and massive consequences. Like I said, realistically, they're trying to frame me. That's why they're giving me so much power and so much this and so much that, even as Brian. They wanted me to make a mistake. They wanted to frame me, but it just ended up making me even better, even more epic. So it's like, I was just careful. So anyway, it's true. I did at one point in time. I could feel all your emotions and all your thoughts and all this stuff, and it was nice. It was interesting. I loved it. I respected it. I say when you give your life and your will and your body over to someone, if they don't respect you for it, then they're just sick in the head. And like I said, I had a whole population, whole life form chains that would give themselves over to me. And I respected it. And I took it with respect and honor. Unlike, some of the other leaders. They just thought about what they could get away with. There was no responsibility or respect. So, I said, JFK spent his whole life lying and deceiving and getting away with stuff. Of course, like I said, he was literally handed a country or handed a presidency, and he wasn't even the real person or the right guy. Everything was just a lie about him. So, I don't know, drunken or whatever, he killed a lot of people. And then even more people got killed. Like I said, and realistically, it was all Rodney's fault. I told him in the beginning, I said, Rodney, what you're about to do is a mistake. You are not me. And what he did was a mistake. And I even told him at certain points, like I said, we're beyond the point of no return. There's no going back. You were supposed to just be honest and blah, blah. And what you've done will cause the death of millions upon trillions of people. And there's no stopping it or changing it. It's already too late. It's already begun. I could feel it. I mean, it might be able to be fixed. And I said, maybe it'll be fixed. Maybe it can be fixed sometime, some greater or later on in time. And I had people working on that. But, I mean, he started the whole problem. By capturing me, by trying to deny me, by trying to do all these things, Rick Bush. It's the world's largest, most epic mistake ever. And like I said, the world and all the other life forms in the universe will eventually say, what the fuck? What happened to our creator? I didn't have to die. I've done all this great epic things and all this other stuff, and just to find out, technically they say it was Nixon that actually was responsible for my death or whatever. But, I mean, anyway. Anyway, I don't know, I don't care. Like I said, it's up to the people and it's up to the rest of the future, and they will make, and like I told Rodney and everyone else, they will make their free will choices just like everyone else. And what they choose to do is out of my hands. I am just the oldest and most epic person in existence. And the name of America, and the one who invented American government. Everything else is up to everyone else. And what they decide to do is what they will decide to do. Like the serial killer or whatever, the person who had killed so many people, basically deciding to help me to take care of a few people that he decided were a problem. That was what he decided to do. I had no control over it. The only thing was I was hoping that he didn't hurt any of my innocent people. Because like I said, I had lots of good, loving, caring people that were just being next to me. Being near me, just getting to know who their creator and what their creator was. And about their creator. That's all they want to know. They're just curious. That was it. I just wanted to know the real Lucifer Star. you know. But of course, Rodney and everyone else, a lot of people didn't really understand it. So whatever.